Now, the second way we take the bait of culture with respect to influence is through fantasy. Write that in. And here's how that works, guys. If we've lost our influence or wasted our influence or abused our position or influence, and we, in the process, have lost control of the people in our lives, we'll find power over others through fantasy. Let me give you an example. Combine fantasy, power, position, and sport. What do you get? Fantasy football. I'm the owner of the Philadelphia Eagles. I can hire coaches, I can trade players, I can transact deals. I'm large and in charge. That's right. Now that's kind of a benign way to do it, you know, and there's not a whole lot that's negative about that. But I'll tell you when it starts to get negative. This whole world of fantasy, when we've lost influence and control and we turn to fantasy in an unhealthy way. It's when we combine power, we combine position, and we combine sex. Then there's fantasy women that we can control. And these women don't ask questions. These women don't require us to have character. We can be whoever we want them to be. Be whoever we want to be and make them be whoever we want them to be in order to find false control and intimacy in our own lives. And here's the problem with false senses of control and false intimacy in fantasy land, is that we bring it into our real world relationships. And as we've ventured out into fantasy land that doesn't require anything of us to get control, we bump into people and relationships and responsibilities that do require a better man. And it doesn't serve us well. You see, guys, the message we're sending as we dive into fantasy to find false intimacy and control is, number one, I want out of my real life. My real life, I can't grow up in that and get control over that. So I have to go find an alternative life out there in cyberspace or wherever that will give me a sense of power and control over something. The second message we send is that we're failing to grow up. Men face their responsibilities, boys run away from responsibilities. The third thing that we're saying by diving into fantasy is the only way that I can have influence is to create a vicarious fairy tale world. And you see, guys, that pixelized woman on the screen that doesn't ask anything of you is totally different from the real women in your life. Real women require character, they require dignity, they require honor, they require respect. And you will never find those things in fantasy land because they're not a requirement. And so what ends up happening is that we bring fantasy into our reality and we can't make relationships work. There's a disconnection there.